p.m. We'll call the meeting to order with Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Cody, would you do a roll call of the board, please?
Supervisor Milky,
I am here.
Treasurer Rogers,
Here.
Trustee Lannon,
Here.
Trustee Lay, here, Trustee Olver,
Hello.
Trustee Thering,
Yep. Here.
Clerk Cody Oliver. Everybody's here.
Beginning of summer is kicked off, huh? We have a decent agenda in front of us. I'm happy to entertain any motions.
Motion to approve.
Support. Motion by Cody, support by Oliver. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. By my count, motion to pass the agenda was approved unanimously. We have no presentations nor public hearings this evening, so that brings us to public comment, which is restricted to 3 minutes regarding items on this agenda. If you choose to address the board or the public, please state your name and address for the record. And with that, we'll open up public comment at 7:01 p.m.
I do have one person online.
Let the record show nobody in person coming forward. As always, with those connected remotely, we'll give just a little bit of time for them to raise their hands electronically if they want to be recognized. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll close public comment at 7:01 p.m. Excuse me. That brings us to item 9, reports, boards, comments, list boards and commissions. Just reminder, EDA, tough one to fill. We got that one, and because of the action we took this last meeting, we have an open ZBA seat, actually technically 2. And then I believe we have some planning commissioner seats that may be coming up. Oh, we don't.
With Stan's resignation, don't we have one
Which will
opening
be
there?
June, so that'll be opening
Yep.
up. Yep. Thanks for the reminder.
Yep.
Board member reports. Trustee Olver.
Nothing today.
Trustee Lannon.
Yes, I had the opportunity to attend the Isabella County Board of Commissioners meeting, committee as a whole, back on April 28th. They had just a few items. They are looking to consider approving the amendments to the Opiate Advisory Committee bylaws that they've been spending some time reviewing and modifying a bit. Also, they're considering to approve the inmate medical program proposal that relates to contracts with Sweetwater Medical and mental health and psychiatric services. And that also has been in the works for about a year. Going through that work. Also, they're considering to approve a contract with BSNA Software to transition from NetBSNA to going to a cloud server. I also saw where the city of Mount Pleasant is looking at doing a similar move. And that was the highlights of that April meeting. I also attended the Isabella County Board of Commissioners meeting May 12th. And the highlights there were, again, discussion and moving towards the proposal going from the Net Source 1 BSNA program into the cloud. And it's just economically the way to go, as well as the support from the company. We'll be going away from that by 2030 anyways, and to beat the mad rush It's financially the way to jump over earlier than later, as they're seeing lots of bids that show that they only last for about 14 days if you don't take a proposal, and then they get another bid and the price seems to go up. So fiscally, it's the way to go. Also, considering approving bylaws of the Human Rights Committee, that again, they went through that and updated some information there. And probably one of the exciting things that took place was Crestwood's Holding LLC, which manages the facility next door, the assisted living, came to them and asked them if they would like to consider being given 6.11 acres of property that is part of Crestwood that they don't have a need for, and it'd go to the Commission on Aging for the benefit of the Commission on Aging, and Crestwood would receive a tax benefit for doing that. So they're pretty excited about that. No plans for the property yet, but the Commission on Aging is looking for suggestions.
Interesting.
Nothing.
Treasurer Rogers?
I attended the road commission meeting, and, because it always falls the day after our meeting, so it was a month ago. And overall, they're down $569,000 because of the state's not paying what they used to, and just combination of factors. Leighton Road lighting project has started. It will end in July. And they're going to put signals at Baseline and Meridian like Wynn and Blanchard have. Safety factor, yeah. Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Trustee Therian?
Yes, I have attended, since our last meeting, 2 city commission meetings. On 4/27, they adopted their goals and objectives, which is based on 4 categories. One is strengthen workforce resilience. An example of that is like cross-training, reviewing or updating their SOPs. There's more. I'm just kind of giving you a little bit. Another one is accelerate tech and operational efficiency. They want to reduce a reliance on paper-based systems and improve accessibility. Advance infrastructure investment, asset management. They want to. One of the things, the goals underneath that was to continue effective communication with residents, to minimize disruption and maintain transparency during construction activities. Another heading was enhance community connection and engagement. And their goals on that were to strengthen their communication with CMU, the tribes, surrounding townships, maybe do short videos, real-time updates, and that was passed. They talked about runway expansion, the same as Mr. Nanny. That conversation was the same. They've been having, it seems like every meeting I go to, there's something about tenants' rights. There's either letters being submitted or people coming in and talk about tenants' rights. Kind of putting everything that I've seen so far, from the tenant side, they're saying they may not have if there's something that's not right, they don't necessarily have the means to, or the avenue to help correct that. That seems to be that side of it. On the other side, there is another side to the story. I don't know if something like that's going to happen or not. I think they're still discussing whether there's going to be something along those lines, but that's where we are on that. On the 5/11 meeting, there's another common theme that seems to kind of come up at all the meetings, and that's a lack of housing or affordable housing. Comments, people coming up, comments. There was a comment made, it actually had to do with the township, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I thought I'd just bring it up. There was a comment made during the city meeting about the corner of Sweeney and Broomfield, which is like the road where the Secretary of State's, not Secretary of State's, but Social Security office is. And the comment was made that there's many accidents and deaths on that road, which I'm not saying there's not, I'm just, typically when there's a fatality, it's brought to our attention. Accidents happen on a lot of those corners. But that was just something that a person had brought up in one of their emails to the city commission. The last two meetings, they've had work sessions on their capital improvements project for 2027 to 2032. They're just talking about downtown improvements, sidewalks, election equipment, replacement, streets, storm sewer, roof for the city hall, very similar things to what we talk about. They had a text amendment to their, that has to do with fencing height. There is a company called J Rank that's putting in some more fencing, and they'd like their fencing a little bit taller than at the time the amendment would allow them. It only allowed for 6 feet. Now, they actually went back a few years and realized that it was 8 foot was allowed because that's what was there, but then something had happened and the wording must have gotten changed, and so what they did is reverted it back to that in their industrial zones. Minimum 5, maximum 8, to help protect inventory, kind of out of sight, out of mind. No action was taken, but they did talk about a millage increase. Not that they were going to increase, but the millage had not increased since 2014. In fact, I believe if I understood her correctly, that the millage had went down in 2014 and had not gone back up. Nobody seemed to be in favor of a millage increase. There was very little discussion and no action was taken, and I didn't really get a sense that any action was going to be taken. And that is my report.
Fantastic, thank you. Clerk Cody? And I don't think I have anything, so that takes us to consent agenda. Just a note, the one addition out of the normal information in there is the well number 11, maintenance and cleaning, so I'm assuming everybody saw that, went through it. Happy to entertain motions.
Motion to approve.
Support?
Motion by Cody, support by Rogers. Any discussion? Who had warrants by chance?
I did. Everything looked swimmingly, or was swimmingly
Okay,
Or
good.
whatever.
Thank you.
stellar. It's gorgeous.
Any comments, questions? All in favor of approving consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda passes unanimously. It takes us to our first new business item, which is the proposal for a 2026 mini excavator purchase. Mr. Stuhldreher, I'm sure you're anxious to introduce this one.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. The report on this item begins on page 41 of your agenda packet. And before I get into that, I would like to note that Mr. Josh Waldron is here tonight, and he is the Public Works foreperson for the Township, and he was very involved in this purchase and the selection and the review. I'm not sure everybody has met Josh in the past, so we asked him to come tonight. So thank you, Josh, for coming. We're asking for consideration to approve a purchase of a 2026 CAT mini excavator from McAllister in the amount of $92,000 and some change. The township currently owns a 2000 CAT backhoe that is used quite a bit. This piece of equipment would be in addition to the backhoe. We would retain the backhoe, but this will give us considerably more flexibility. It is smaller than a backhoe. It will allow us to respond to customer needs better. It has less of a footprint. It's easier to control in tight spaces, more precision type of tasks. This would be split half and half between the water and the sewer budget. There was funds in the budget that was approved for this purchase, as well as a trailer to haul it. The trailer is not part of this action tonight, but we would end up purchasing a trailer, and that would probably fall below the $20,000 limit that needs to come to the Board of Review, or I'm sorry, the Board of Trustees. A lot of time was spent reviewing this purchase, this item, speccing it out, talking to contractors around town, dealerships, people that actually use this piece of equipment. We received 9 bids for it, and used our standard procurement processes and practices, sealed bids. This is not the lowest bidder, but it is the most responsive bidder, taking into account adherence to the specs along with price. This falls about midway between the lowest and the highest bid. So we're recommending McAllister based on the supplier's ability to provide the equipment as we specified. We've had experience purchasing and servicing CAT equipment, very favorable in that regard. As I mentioned, the type of work that we're able to do with the mini excavator, the overall cost, and the equipment warranty. We do have sufficient funds, as I mentioned. We have $65,000 budgeted for this, half in the water, half in the sewer fund. So based on that review, we're recommending the purchase of this piece of equipment from McAllister CAT. Be happy to answer any questions any of the board members may have.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the purchase of a 2026 CAT 305 mini excavator from McAllister CAT in the amount of $92,243.75.
Support.
Motion by Olver, support by Thering. I'm just curious, I won't name the submitting bid, but there was one that was almost double.
Yeah,
I was
cost?
looking,
that was, yeah.
Did they spec a different piece of equipment, or they just
I
didn't,
don't know.
they didn't want to sell it?
I
it
don't
had seat
know.
warmers.
Yeah, it's just, it's such an outlier.
It is.
Yeah.
Odd to me. When I originally had read this, just for, if you didn't notice it, I had asked about the 2013 CAT that we have, and I hadn't picked up that we were retaining that the first time I read through this. So I'd asked Mark about this in a separate conversation. So the intent is to keep both. The other question I asked was storage. Where do we keep the 2013 now?
That's at the utilities building.
On like Deerfield and Mission?
Mission,
Yep. And then we've got room for this one as well then, there too?
yes.
I have a question about the payment of it. Is it said we have 65,000 in the budget, sewer and water. Where's the rest of it come from?
It's 60.
Half of 65 is in the water fund and 65,000 is in the sewer fund.
Thank you. Okay.
Splitting it.
So
Thank
we
you.
combine those two.
So if you add in, you said 20,000 maybe, or under 20,000 for the trailer,
Right.
we're still
Yep.
looking
We're
at under
still
what we
under
had
budget,
budgeted
Good.
Yeah.
for it. Trustee Landon, I know you got something.
After reading the background information, made better sense of a new appropriate piece of equipment that will allow them to be more precise and do less damage in the areas where they're working. And operation of it seems to improve some safety factors as well and ease of operation. And, you know, you need equipment like this to handle the work that's being done here through the township.
Can I make one more point?
Sure.
When I was introducing Mr. Waldron, I wanted to also mention that prior to his promotion, which was done, I want to say about a year ago, into his current position, he was our skilled equipment operator, so he was operating a backhoe quite a bit. And his experience with that piece of equipment and enabled us to really spec this thing out well. And so we're very confident it's going to be a nice addition to the rolling stock that we have. Josh started with the organization in 2014 as a skilled operator, and then about a year ago when John Bebo left, he was promoted into the 4-person position. So, thank you.
Thank you. Motion on the floor. Do we have other discussion? Anybody not clear on the motion? All in favor of the motion to purchase the mini cat excavator for the amount of $92,243.75, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you for your work on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have fun.
That brings us to new business item 11B, excuse me. This is a proposal for some engineering services provided by Gordy Frazier regarding Pump Station 10 rehabilitation project. Mr. Stuhldreher?
Thank you. Again, a report on page 62 of your agenda packet. We're asking the board to consider approving an engineering and construction services contract with Gordy Frazier related to the rehabilitation of Pump Station number 10 that's located on Mulberry Lane. The contract with Gordy Frazier would be in the amount of $28,500. The pump station is indicated as on Mulberry Lane. The collection service area is along High Street west of Isabella Road and Mulberry Lane, that part of the township. That pump station was originally installed in the late 1980s. We do routine televising of our sanitary sewer system, the piping in the area, the mains and whatnot were in good shape, but it was time to replace and upgrade the pump station itself. We'd be upgrading, and this is the entire project, so I'm going beyond just the service agreement. But pump station number 10, we have that budgeted for $205,000, also approved in your budget. And this contract would do preliminary design, final design, handle putting together the bid documents, helping with bid review, and then also construction management, the normal work that we typically have Gordy Frazier do for these types of projects. And their contract, which is part of the $205,000 that we've estimated for the total project, is $28,000. And in addition to the things I mentioned, there'd also be on-site construction observation, and then they would help with project closeout, Gordy Frazier would, and starting up that pump station. This engineering contract is part of the approved 26 budget and the sanitary sewer budget. Project-wide, we're looking to bid this in the fall of 26 after all the engineering work's done, and probably do the actual work construction in the spring of 2027. But you'll see more about this project as we get into bidding out the construction work. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Would you anticipate any traffic restriction on either High or Mulberry Lane due to this project, or?
I'd like to defer that to Ms. Smith.
The station's actually located on Mulberry Lane. I don't know if you're familiar
It's
with
at the
Mulberry
end.
Lane, but it's just like a one-way. The station actually sits kind of right in the middle, and it's kind of like a cul-de-sac back there.
Mhm.
No, we won't have any problems with traffic. I mean, there'll be, equipment, you know, there'll be pickup trucks and then all the things we have in the area. But it's not like we have to dig this thing up and take it out or anything. It's mainly, you know, piping, valve, doing work to the wet well, but we're not gonna have like a big excavation going on for this project, so it would not interrupt. And you can get around both ways on that, on Mulberry Lane.
Thanks.
I move to approve the engineering and construction services contract with Gordy Frazier for the rehabilitation of pump station number 10 located on Mulberry Lane in the amount of $28,500 and authorize the township manager to sign the contract.
Support.
Motion by Rogers, support by Cody. Discussion?
Just a question a little bit outside of the scope work, but Mulberry Lane, is that still a gravel road, a dirt road of sorts? What's the condition of the road in your mind? Is it a well-maintained road, or?
Oh, I was just down there. It wasn't too bad. It's not terribly bad. You can go down there more than I have.
It's normally pretty good. I'd say in springtime it's been a little rough. Generally they'll come through and they'll grade it up. It's fine for the rest of the summer.
Thanks.
We've had, we have about 20 miles of gravel road in the township, and over the last 5-10 years, we've been working with the county and doing the refurbishing of those. So we're hitting these roads once every 5 years or so, or maybe once every 4 years or so.
Really, the only people that drive down there are probably us, the road commission, and the people that live on it, because there's not, you know, there's
Yeah.
very few homes, so.
4 or 5 houses.
Couple duplexes or something.
A couple duplexes and, yeah.
Going back a ways, I just remember traveling it, and it used to seem like there was always some big retention of water and a little muddy and a little sloppy of a road, but it sounds like over the course of the last decade, it's been maintained.
Anything else? We have a motion on the floor to approve engineering for $28,500 with Gordy Frazier on, excuse me, pump station number 10. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. That brings us to item C. This is regarding second reading and potential adoption of proposed PRESZ 2602, which is a rezone request. Just for the public's information, second reading, this means that the Board of Trustees had a first reading prior to this meeting, which was actually our last meeting. But this is a second opportunity for the public to have their voice heard if they would like to. With that, Mr. Stuhldreher, would you like to introduce this?
Thank you, and as you indicated, is second reading was reviewed pretty thoroughly, I think, at the last board meeting. We're talking about 7 3/4 acres approximately of land north of East River Road on Morey Drive. We looked at the master plan. This was mentioned last meeting as well. This rezoning into ag would fit well with the master plan. This area is designated as rural preservation, so by rezoning it kind of helps protect that that land use planning commission held their public hearing on this proposed rezoning on March 17th, unanimously approved recommending that the Board of Trustees adopt it. On page 74, there's all the items, calendaring, chronological order, various public hearings, notices sent out, first readings held. Tonight's the second reading. And we do feel that this rezoning would reduce any encroachment of more suburban, urban type of development that you might see with the residential. So we think it's a good case for the rezoning. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
As our manager said, we've kind of been through this already.
A motion to conduct a second reading for the proposed PREZ 26-02 request to rezone the 7.77 acres of land north of East River Road and Maury Drive in the southeast corner of Section 3 PID 14-003-30-001-25 from R2A 1 and 2 family low density residential to AG agricultural zoning district, and to adopt the mandatory ordinance as ordinance number 26-02.
Support.
Motion by Cody, support by Olver. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Would you do a roll call of the board? Anybody not clear on the motion?
Supervisor Milky,
Yes.
Treasurer Rogers,
Yes.
Trustee Lannan,
Yes.
Trustee Lay,
Yes.
Trustee Over,
Yes.
Trustee Thering,
Yes.
and Clerk Cody, yes. All yeses.
Motion passes unanimously. And I guess that means we just updated our ordinance. That brings us to our last new business item, which is EDA Board Participation Agreement to support the new Jameson Park Recreation Facility infrastructure improvements. And it's been reported, I think, at our last meeting, but last month the EDA approved $74,000 towards the improvements there. Mr. Stuhldreher, do you want to add to that?
I will, just for a moment. You may recall that when we were developing the 2026 budget, we had recommended to the EDA asking them to contribute to the fitness court project on Jameson Road. At the time, our recommendation was about $150,000. They declined that recommendation. We had amended the budget on the township side then and their budget to remove that revenue source into the general fund for this project, and that put more stress then on the general fund. And at the time, we'd indicated we would likely go back to the EDA and ask them to reconsider and provide some financial support. So we did that. We reduced the amount of the ask to $74,000. And on April 21st, the EDA adopted a motion approving their side of the participation agreement with the township in the amount of $74,000. They also amended their budget at the time to add that expense to their budget. And around the same time, the Board of Trustees then amended the general fund budget to recognize the resource coming into the general fund from the EDA. So it removed about half of the stress that we had put on the general fund. The work that the EDA is paying for is concrete for the pad that the fitness court sits on, also a sidewalk extension over towards the pavilion, or not the pavilion, the Jameson Hall itself. Their funding will also be used for the demolition and removal of the existing dugouts that are cinder block over there, and the fencing that goes up the left field line out to the outfield, along with removing gravel and replacing it with topsoil and grass. We have also submitted a 2% grant request for this project. We have not heard the results of those requests yet. That grant request is in the amount of $105,000. Provided everything goes well and the weather cooperates and whatnot, we're targeting June of this year for the completion and the installation of the outdoor fitness court. Be happy to answer any questions the Board of Trustees may have.
I'll just add that the EDA, my memory or recollection is that they voted unanimously on support of this.
I'd like to move to approve a participation agreement with the EDA Board for FY 2026 funding from the East DDA District Fund in the amount of $74,000 to support completion of new Jamison Park Recreation Facility infrastructure improvements, and to authorize the Township Manager to sign the agreement.
Support.
Motion by Olver, support by Cody. Further discussion?
I just feel like Clerk Cody shouldn't have to read all of them, so I like to jump in from time to time.
You were correct. According to the background information, it was unanimous, like approval
Oh,
from.
you looked it up. Okay.
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going from memory, but
You were correct.
not that it matters. A majority is all that's needed, but
It's nice to have the support.
especially for those that did not support the initial funding that we had asked.
I'm just happy to hear that the East DDA finds value in supporting this project, and certainly please. Just a question, does the township have any need, or is there any value in retaining extra fencing for future?
That fence was in pretty bad shape.
It's
They
gonna,
didn't come out
it's
of
gonna
it
be
now.
gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question, though.
But I just wondered,
Yeah.
we do projects and sometimes you need
Yeah,
barriers to protect the area.
yeah, no, once they took it, it was bad.
No, thank you.
You have something?
I did want to mention that at the EDA meeting, I attended that meeting and presented the request to the EDA myself on behalf of the Board of Trustees, and they were all of them were very appreciative of the request, that I was making the request on the Board of Trustees. I think that signaled how important it was to us, and there was vocal, unanimous, positive comments made about this project. So, thank you.
Very good. Anything else? We have a motion to approve participation agreement with the EDA for the amount of $74,000 for help with the Jamison improvements. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. And with that, I can't believe you got a short meeting out of this. That does bring us to a couple more things. Yeah. Which brings us to manager's comments. Mr. Stuhldreher?
Wait, extended public comment.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
I was really trying for you. Sorry, public. I skipped, excuse me, extended public comment. So we'll begin that now. It is restricted to 5 minutes regarding any issue. If you choose to address the public, please state your name and address for the record. And with that, we'll open up restricted public comment at 7:39 p.m.
One person online.
They stayed with us at
They
least.
stayed with us.
Seeing no one coming forward in person, again, for those that are connected remotely, we'll give you just a moment to raise your hand electronically if you'd like to speak. Seeing no indication of such, we'll close extended public comment at 7:39 p.m. Now, Manager's comments, Mr. Stuhldrager.
Thank you, and I have just a couple. We've been wanting to get the board out, and the board's been wanting to get out to see and tour the water and wastewater facilities. So we are targeting June 10th, which is the first Board of Trustee meeting in June. And our plan right now is, and we have a bus from the ITC coming. They would be here at Township Hall at 5 o'clock. We'd do the tour, probably take about an hour and a half. We'd be back here at 6:30-ish, and then the normal meeting would start at 7. We are keeping that agenda light because we're starting, although not a meeting, but we're starting business at 5 o'clock. So hopefully that works with everybody's schedules. So I wanted to let you know that. I'll send out an email to remind everybody.
I'll make it work.
Were there other, looked like there might be
No, I
a
was
question
just
on
seeing
this
if there,
matter.
regarding
Oh, good.
scheduling, if there's
Okay.
any issues.
Then the other item is, with some, I don't want to say disappointment, but Mark Rockefeller has announced his retirement. He announced that late last week. He's been with the township for 16 years, which is a pretty good stint. He started as a skilled laborer when he came on board, leaving as an assistant water operator. And we're planning a gathering on May 22nd, which is a Friday at noon, non-township funded, kind of going away cookout. All the board is invited if you'd like to come. That starts at noon. We'll be doing it primarily in the hall at Jameson because the weather, is kind of unpredictable. But it'll be held at Jameson Park and Jameson Hall. Starts at noon. And as part of that, I'd like to request the board's grace in allowing us to close Township Hall and the water administration, wastewater administration facilities from around 11:30 to maybe 1:15 or so everybody could have an opportunity to get over there. So those are the two things. Unfortunately for the township, fortunately for Mr. Rockefeller, he's retiring after 16 years with the township. Have a little gathering for him on the 22nd. Like to close Township Hall for an hour and 45 minutes or so. And then again, the tour of the water and wastewater facilities on June 10th, 5 o'clock. I'll send out an email as a reminder. We will be keeping that agenda light. And although I don't think it's going to be a problem, I mentioned it to a few board members earlier tonight. If by chance we are still meeting at 9 o'clock, I'm going to need to leave tonight. I've never left a board meeting early, but I do have some pressing personal business at 9 tonight. So thank you for the opportunity for my comments.
Thank you.
Does that require a formal motion on behalf of the
No, I
board?
think he's
or
just
sort of
asking
a-
for our, I mean, is there any objections to closing township for
No.
2 hours roughly?
Makes sense?
And we'll post it and give plenty of public notice and put it on the door and that kind of thing. So,
Very good.
Thank you.
I will not be able to make the recognition of retirement on May 22nd. I have a grandson being born that morning. And so unless he comes early, he's scheduled for 8:30 on May 22nd. So please extend my gratitude.
I will.
Anything else for the manager?
I just think it's important to celebrate the important milestones in our staff's lives and careers, and I think it's terrific that there's interest to do this for fellow staff member.
100%.
There will be no township funds spent on this.
And I am excited for the opportunity for, especially some of our newer board members, to get the opportunity to tour our facilities.
I'm looking
We
forward to it.
wanted that from the beginning of the new election cycle, but obviously that didn't work because of construction and better late than never.
Yep.
Now I get to see the new and improved
Right.
facilities.
We're trying to drag this out for you now.
We can walk around, we'll be fine.
That brings us to final board member comment. Trustee Thering,
Good, thank you.
Clerk Cody,
I'm good.
Trustee Olford,
Good, thank you.
Trustee Landon.
Just mentioned that Lincoln Road has experienced some improvements and looks terrific. I've been down it and it is a fine improvement.
You know, I didn't even notice when I was pulling up that the barriers are gone now. Wow.
I got nothing.
I have two things. I was in Myrtle Beach recently, and we were walking, my husband and I went out to dinner, 6 lanes, so turn lanes, so 7 lanes. There was no sidewalk for 2 miles on one side of it, and so we're walking over stuff, and on the side where there was sidewalk, it was sidewalk and the lanes right there. There was nothing between it, and just, you know, this 6 inches is separating you from, like, so people need to appreciate what we do here in our sidewalks and the importance. That was crazy. I'm like, I can't believe this. The other thing has nothing to do with that. I want to talk about the timing and the frequency of our meetings. I did some checking, and charter townships are only required to be once a month. And I'm wondering if that would be considered. We would have longer meetings, but then it's better for all of our schedules. But everything's still addressed, and if need be, we could have a special meeting. And also, I'm wondering if it needs to be changed from 7 p.m. until maybe 5:30. We might have more public attendance because it's not so late at night. Also. So I would like to just start the conversation about possibility of
May I
change.
jump in?
Certainly, please.
So, we've had this discussion, and my suggestion to Treasurer Rogers was to at least broach the idea tonight. I don't think you're asking for any
Nope.
kind of action
Nope.
of any
Throw it
sort,
out
just
there.
to think about it,
Yep.
so that if you want to discuss it, we have that opportunity to do so. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yes.
please.
What other townships you said there were some other, I'm assuming townships close by that are doing something similar, or?
All the townships in Isabella County are once a month, except us.
No, in the city.
I'm sorry?
Just us in the city.
Right.
Just us in the city?
There's no, yeah, there's.
But, I'm not saying I'm for or against, I'm just thinking out loud. Do they have quite the infrastructure in the sense of sewer and water that we do, that maybe delaying something might slow some progress up? And that would be a question for our manager. If you know, that'd be my only concern, is that not having a meeting might slow that progress up. Am I saying that right?
Sure.
Yeah, you're saying that right.
Okay.
I don't think there's any township in the county that is as complex and involved as
Right.
Union Township. There would need to be some changes made with the assistance of the board, and I'm kind of just thinking out loud as well, because I haven't mentally studied it a lot, but I think with board resolution, we could manage the accounts payable process by rule. The board of trustee approves accounts payables before those checks go out. There is a mechanism where the board, through resolution, can allow payments to be made before they've been approved. So we could probably manage that with the help of the board. And then operationally, to more your point, I think it would also necessitate increasing my approval levels, which are right now at 20,000, and we moved those up from 10 not too long ago. But there is work and there are action items that, you know, are better to be taken sooner rather than later. And so to continue our service delivery, if we're having one board meeting a month instead of 2, then I guess we'd be extending from a 2-week period to a 4-week period, where we may not always need to be able to wait for board approval. And so, you know, a combination of increasing authorities for me and I think would need to be considered. And I haven't. Those are the couple things that immediately come to mind. And I guess related to that, you know, right now we'll call it 24 meetings a year. I know there's December there's only one, but so 23 meetings. But if we call it 24, you'd be down to 12, and I could see a few special meetings probably needed throughout the year. You know, maybe 4 or 5 of those. So, you know, if you're up to 12 plus 3 or 4, call it 4, you might be meeting 16 times a year versus 24. But so I could see additional special meetings, and the higher my approval levels are, the fewer of those you would need to have. And then, so, but those are my initial comments on it.
You know, I was thinking also, thank you, Anders. Being on the planning commission, there was some excellent changes made that allowed somebody that if they met all the criteria, they didn't necessarily have to come back to the board for approval, which totally helped them get started a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So if maybe, like for example, our second reading and adoption tonight had to wait till next month, and there was a project, you know, and again, we only have so many months of good building. If something, I'm just using that as an example, where they were waiting on us, that would be a special meeting, but I would hate to have a special meeting for one item. Again, I'm not against the idea. I'm just, the one thing I don't want to do is we made amazing progress on the planning commission by implementing that. I think that was huge for developers to get, you know, essentially they're potentially could be getting 3 to 4 weeks head start where they would normally have to wait prior to that change. So I don't want to see things like that happen. And I don't want to, I would hate to, I have complete confidence that if the manager needed to do something, I have no issue with that. I just don't want to, sometimes you like to hear each other speak, and you might then develop an idea or a question or something. I don't want to miss that. That's the one thing I'm afraid, I'm not against change, but I'm afraid we might miss something.
And I guess my thought was that if it changes to once a month, then people know that, they know going into it, because it wouldn't be instant at all. It'd be, you know, 6 months from now, we'll be going to one, and then they know, I need to get this done now, because then I have to wait a month.
Right. Well, sometimes though, Well, and I'm referring back to the planning commission. It's a dot of an I or a cross of a T that unfortunately maybe somebody else didn't do because they needed a little more time. I'm sure that's a rarity,
Sure.
but it can happen. It sounds like I'm against it, and
No.
I'm really,
No,
I'm
no.
not. I'm just trying to
See everything, yeah.
throw some things out there for other people maybe to think about.
Historically, why do we have the precedent of twice a month? Do we know, like, when was that instituted? Why was it instituted? How long? I know that's probably something we need to dig into.
Yes, I didn't get there.
Well, we've had to since at least well prior to 2008. I'm looking at trustee Landon on purpose here. I'm guessing as long as we've been a charter township, right? But I don't know that.
It goes back as far as I can recall.
Yeah.
I'm not against moving the time up, because I do agree maybe 7 o'clock is a little bit, well, that's typically definitely after dinner time for somebody.
That-
We do have the option of online that applies to most, but
Right.
not all. There are opportunities for people to come, but
So they're two separate things, like, you know, the frequency and then the time of day.
right.
Personally, I would suggest that I prefer a 2-hour meeting to a 4-hour meeting. And I'd rather do that twice.
Yeah, we don't function well once you get past 2 hours.
Well, I think it's a long time for folks
Right.
to be able to concentrate on that much. And if we have that much important things to do, we don't want to just be breezing through for sake of expediency of the evening.
Right.
You know, and as a father of 4, I enjoy starting the meeting after dinner time rather than missing that with my family, but I'm one person in this.
I told Trustee Rogers this, I'm not thrilled with the frequency idea, but I'm certainly open to discussing, and if this, what the board wants, then I'd be supportive of it. But there may be a compromise too, and I mentioned this as well, we kind of know our calendar, we set the calendar for each year. And if we chose, we could have, let me back up. We tend to have cycles in our busier times, like budget season, for example. We tend to spend more time on the budget, and as we should. We could set the calendar up so that maybe some months we have 2 scheduled, and other months we have 1 scheduled. I mean, there is a lot of latitude we have here. So I think the point is not to resolve all this tonight.
Right.
The point was more to introduce the idea.
Yeah.
Is this something this board would like to have conversation on after some thought?
Yeah, I'd be interested in more conversation for sure.
That's it.
After you're done with this comment, I want to make my own. Like for an end
Oh.
comment, if that's possible. I forgot.
Are there those that just don't even want to talk about this?
It's worth having a dialogue about.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I do want to thank Mark for his services and wish him well on his next journey, so I do want, yeah, sorry. That's it.
No, I'm good.
You finished your business? With that, our business is completed. We'll adjourn at 7:58 p.m. That's a quick meeting.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mr.